Joshua happening in December? Anything, any prediction on how it will go? Yeah, if it's not handicapped, Anthony Joshua will knock him out.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
I respect them both. It's not a fight I even thought of. I mean, it's nothing to do with me to start with. I mean, it come out of the blue, but it's intriguing. And I think from Jake's perspective, I think, he's had a lot of criticism about, he is a pro boxer now. The way you want to look at it, he trains as a pro, but, and he's fighting as a pro.
The rules, 10-ounce gloves. So they're the little ones that I knock people out with. And when AJ's got them on, trust me, you can feel them knuckles through the gloves. Big heavyweight with the same size gloves as what I had on. So it's not 14 or 16 ounces what you spot.
Shannon Sharpe confronting Jake Paul live on air over the Anthony Joshua fight instantly became one of those explosive moments that feels destined to be replayed for years. The entire scene had the kind of raw, unscripted tension that only happens when a sport, a personality, and a cultural shift collide all at once. Jake Paul has carved out one of the strangest and most unpredictable paths in modern sports, from YouTube entertainer to major boxing attraction. The idea of him stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua was already massive news on its own. Fans, promoters, commentators, and even casual viewers had been arguing about it endlessly. For some, it's innovative matchmaking that brings huge audiences into the sport. For others, it's turning boxing into a circus. Add in Netflix, the ticket frenzy, and the non-stop hype engine, and the atmosphere was a powder keg waiting to explode. Then you bring in Shannon Sharpe, a Hall of Famer whose voice carries weight in every sports room he enters. He is not someone who built his career on neutrality. Shannon is respected because he has opinions, he stands on them, and he refuses to water them down. So when he feels the traditions of a sport are being disrespected, he doesn't whisper his frustration, he broadcasts it. That emotional fire is what powered this entire confrontation.
Joshua won the gold medal. Didn't he win the gold medal for the super heavyweights in the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know Anthony Joshua's history, but I'm thinking about ring experience. That's pretty much it. And I commend Jake Paul for what he's done. I commend him for the work he's put in and how serious he's taken the sport. From going from a YouTuber and actually taking it seriously and dedicating his life to boxing and entertaining, in his own lane and creating a lane for himself in the sport. So you can't handicap a fight like this too, It's not.
He won the gold medal during the 2012 Olympics in London.
Yeah.
And the super heavyweight, same one Klitschko, the same one.
A live confrontation like the one between Shannon Sharpe and Jake Paul doesn't just happen by accident, it builds like a storm. And it always starts the same way, Jake Paul doing exactly what he does best. He talks, he provokes, he markets himself with fearless confidence. He floods social media, fans, critics, and algorithms alike with heat. And he doesn't just stir conversation, he ignites it. Whether he crosses lines deliberately or by accident hardly matters anymore. He calls out legends, boasts about his victories, and presents himself as the biggest attraction in boxing today. His supporters see it as earned swagger. Traditionalists see it as arrogance. But everything shifts the moment Shannon Sharpe stands up. The energy in the studio freezes. His reaction is not random, not emotional for no reason, it is layered with meaning. The first layer is simple: protect the sport. Boxing isn't just a show, it's a legacy built on blood, years of sacrifice, and discipline. Fighters like Anthony Joshua didn't simply appear on the main stage, they were forged through grueling battles. So when someone from outside the traditional system, like Jake Paul, ascends rapidly to main event status, it can feel like the sport's integrity is being challenged. Sharpe, a Hall of Famer with deep respect for athletic tradition, carries himself like a guardian of the game. When he feels the sport is being trivialized, he does not whisper, he corrects loudly. Then comes the second layer, personal accountability. Shannon Sharpe doesn't let reckless talk slide. If Jake Paul disrespects fighters, downplays the danger of combat, or inflates his place in boxing, Sharpe will check him immediately. And he did. His tone sharpened, his questions hit harder, and then came the line everyone instantly clipped, shared, and replayed. "This is bull." It was one of those rare, electric live moments that makes every person watching suddenly lean forward. It felt unscripted, raw, and honest. And then? The explosion. Social media erupted the moment the cameras stopped rolling. Fans split into warring camps. Some praised Shannon for defending the soul of boxing. Others argued that he was out of touch, refusing to acknowledge the modern, entertainment-driven era Jake represents. Jake's supporters countered that he brings money, youth, and millions of new eyeballs to a sport that has desperately needed fresh energy. This is the crossroads boxing stands at today. Legacy versus celebrity, tradition versus spectacle, sport versus entertainment, purity versus virality. Moments like this confrontation become symbols of the entire debate. Did boxing gain something by being thrust into the spotlight? Or lose something as narratives shift toward clicks, hype, and controversy? But one thing is undeniable. These moments fuel the anticipation for every new fight. They redefine what big boxing events mean in 2025. Whether you believe Shannon was right to challenge Jake or Jake was right to roll with the chaos, the clash proved something important: boxing is still alive, emotional, unpredictable, and fiery. The argument only grew louder once rumors surrounding Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua intensified online. For days, the internet buzzed with disbelief. Almost no one thought Jake Paul would actually step into the ring with a two-time heavyweight world champion until the news broke that the fight was officially set for December 19th in Miami, Florida. The drama escalated further when Logan Paul ran into UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier during podcast recordings. Logan immediately confronted him about the Jake versus Joshua matchup. Once Cormier realized the rumors were not rumors but real, he went through a roller coaster of emotions right there on camera. Logan confirmed the Netflix details were legitimate. Cormier responded bluntly. "There's got to be rules for Anthony Joshua. People keep messing this up. Stop acting like Jake isn't a boxer. It's been 5 years of real boxing, real coaches, real training partners. He's gotten better, he can fight." Then Logan cut in. "Yeah, but what about Anthony Joshua?" Cormier's reaction had the entire room howling. It was a mix of disbelief and humor, a reminder of how absurd yet fascinating this matchup is. Meanwhile, Joshua hasn't fought since being knocked out by Daniel Dubois in September 2024. But the 36-year-old insists he's coming back with force. The moment the fight was announced, he promised to destroy the internet by dismantling Jake Paul. Jake or anyone can get this work. No mercy. He promised big numbers, big fights, and a mega show, claiming he's about to break records and Jake Paul's face. Joshua even predicted more traditional fighters will follow him into these crossover mega fights. Then another twist entered the narrative. Tyson Fury's prediction. Fury told Ring Magazine he believes Jake Paul will knock Joshua out. His reasoning? He thinks Joshua is a spent force and that Jake is rising with a new heavyweight frame. Fury claimed Paul looked bulky and strong, and at only 28 years old, has momentum on his side. Jake has mostly fought at cruiserweight, but last year he stepped into heavyweight and defeated Mike Tyson, albeit at 58 years old, by decision. Now he prepares for 8 3-minute rounds against Joshua using 10-ounce gloves, with AJ capped at a maximum weigh-in of 245 pounds. And the story doesn't stop there. Joshua is still loosely connected to a long-teased fight with Fury, who retired after back-to-back losses to Alexander Usyk. Jake Paul was originally supposed to fight Gervonta Davis, but legal issues cancelled that bout. Jake's team then listed multiple fighters who agreed to face him, including Anthony Joshua, while insisting Tommy Fury declined again.
Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but what Daniel Dubois did to him, then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through, Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route.
Carl Froch explained that, in his view, Anthony Joshua's true legacy lies in how he revitalized boxing for mainstream audiences. Frock said Joshua brought the sport back into the public eye and attracted huge crossover armchair fans who watched not necessarily because of pure boxing passion, but because they wanted to be part of a massive spectacle. That, Frock argued, is undoubtedly great for the sport and deserves recognition. However, he maintained that this popularity alone does not qualify Joshua for the Hall of Fame. According to Frock, induction demands a resume filled with back-to-back world title defenses and consistent victories over truly elite opponents. He emphasized that acknowledging this isn't an insult toward Joshua, just an honest assessment of boxing history. Frock also admitted that Joshua's decision to fight Jake Paul hurts his legacy a little, because in his words, AJ is stepping into the clown world. Still, Frock understands the financial appeal, saying Joshua is cashing out, but that this inevitably comes at a cost to his legacy. Despite the glaring gap in experience and talent, David Benavidez praised Paul for having the courage to take on such a monumental challenge. Benavidez acknowledged that Joshua is fully expected to dominate, but said, "I give 100% respect to Jake Paul. That's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, not because I'm hating, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua." He reminded fans that Joshua is a multi-time world champion, an Olympic gold medalist, and a fighter who knocks out inexperienced opponents brutally, referencing the fate of Otto Wallin and others. Regardless, Benavidez said the event will be huge and gave Jake Paul full credit for stepping up. Meanwhile, former cruiserweight world champion Lawrence Oakley has offered to join Jake Paul's training camp ahead of the December showdown. Oakley, who has sparred extensively with Joshua and also trained with Paul in the past, said from Dubai, "I want to go and help Jake Paul. The offer is there. I want to know what makes Jake say, I'm going to get in the ring with a 250-pound muscle man from England. Maybe he's got a secret I don't know about." Now a full-fledged heavyweight and the WBC's top-ranked contender, Oakley is one of the few fighters with intimate knowledge of both men. Although he isn't predicting a Paul victory, he believes the American may have moments of success. The real problems, Oakley explained, will begin after Paul manages to land anything meaningful, because Joshua is a 6 feet 6 inches, 250-pound veteran with elite pedigree. Even so, Oakley said, crazier things have happened. Let's just see. When asked whether Joshua could end the fight in the first round, he disagreed, saying AJ hasn't fought in a while and may treat this bout more like an exercise. He believes that if Paul lands a clean punch without getting knocked out immediately, the fight suddenly becomes interesting. Oakley added that Joshua's size and reach will make it extremely challenging for Paul to build rhythm unless he picks perfect shots while avoiding being pushed around. At one point, Oakley once said he could never fight Joshua because his mother wouldn't allow it due to how much AJ helped his career. Laughing now, he admitted, well, she'd allow it now. She's more on my side these days. He even joked that the matchup would be the ultimate Nigerian headliner. Johnny Nelson, however, believes Joshua has put himself in a no-win situation. Speaking to Sky Sports, Nelson said, there are 50 million reasons why Joshua is taking this fight. He never expected AJ to accept it because he thought Joshua's focus would be on legacy and becoming a 3-time world champion. This shows me it's business now, he added. Nelson also commented on Joshua's weight limit of 245 pounds, a sign that AJ must come in fight fit, unlike his heavier outing against Daniel Dubois. He emphasized that this is not a joke event like McGregor versus Mayweather. If this is a real fight, Jake Paul is super brave, Nelson said. Eddie Hearn confirmed the fight is fully legitimate, with both fighters wearing standard 10-ounce heavyweight gloves. Nelson added that Joshua will get criticized regardless. If Paul lasts the distance, people question AJ's ability. If Joshua knocks him out, people will say it was expected. Nelson argued that most fans will tune in hoping Joshua shuts Paul's mouth once and for all. However, if AJ struggles in any way, he may need to question whether he has transitioned from elite boxer to businessman. Nelson doubts Joshua can reclaim world title glory after the knockout loss to Dubois, saying his chances have gotten slimmer and slimmer. But he admitted the Paul fight brings enormous money, something few fighters would turn down. Promoter Frank Warren added that Joshua vs. Paul has car crash written all over it. He told ESPN that Paul is a massive underdog and most fans see the result as inevitable, but the fight will draw huge numbers. Warren criticized Joshua for choosing what he calls the safe option, saying he'd rather see AJ face rising heavyweight Moses Itama.
both. It's not a fight I even thought of. It's nothing to do with me to start with. It come out of the blue, but it's intriguing. And I think from Jake's perspective, he's had a lot of criticism about, he is a pro boxer now. The way you want to look at it, he trains as a pro, and he's fighting as a pro. They said it's about time he fought some. I've seen some of the stuff, that's been said. When's he going to fight someone? Well, he's gone from one extreme to the other. That's what he's doing. So if that fight happens, you've got to take your hat off to him.
He got called out by Andre Ward, AJ. Would you rather see Jake fight AJ, which is obviously, as we know, in this match, or Andre Ward, who's been retired for 4 years?
I'd much rather see AJ fight Tyson.
Please. I dread to think how many times
we don't know if that's
going
to happen, because the big man, he's filming, he's not made his mind up what he's going to.
It is widely believed that Anthony Joshua will still go on to face Tyson Fury in a highly anticipated showdown next year, even after taking the controversial fight with Jake Paul. Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, stated last week that the plan is very much alive. He explained that they are working closely with Turki Alilshik, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, who is expected to help broker the deal between the camps. Alilshik has already confirmed that Joshua is scheduled to fight in February, with the long-term goal of securing a Fury fight in 2026. Hearn revealed that their side of the agreement is nearly finalized, though Frank Warren maintains that Tyson Fury will have the final say. Warren emphasized that everything ultimately depends on Fury's interest and the financial offer. Tyson will make the decision. It's about what he wants to do, and how much money. Talks are happening. If the offer is right, he'll take it. Ariel Helwani also weighed in on the situation. Helwani dismissed the argument that a Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight damages Joshua's legacy, noting that even legends like Muhammad Ali and George Foreman participated in unorthodox or gimmick-style matchups. At the end of the day, he said, boxing is still prize fighting, and fighters have always taken opportunities that made financial sense. However, Helwani expressed serious concern regarding Jake Paul's safety. He referenced Francis Ngannou's knockout loss and how Ngannou remained motionless for a prolonged period afterward. Helwani said, "The real discussion around Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is about safety. People die in boxing, it's not an exaggeration. Is Jake Paul at excessive risk of serious damage?" He added that Ngannou had never been dropped or knocked out prior to that moment, and seeing him unconscious for so long was terrifying. Despite the criticism, Jake Paul has doubled down on his bold predictions. He insists he will defeat Joshua. The controversy surrounding the matchup stems from Joshua's accomplishments and his enormous physical advantages. But Paul remains unfazed. On his official YouTube channel, he declared, "I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua." Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. Joshua, who has been inactive since his devastating knockout loss to Daniel Dubois in September 2024, views the fight as a tune-up before his February return. Yet many in the boxing world have questioned the wisdom behind Paul's decision to take on such a dangerous opponent. Rising heavyweight Moses Itoma was especially blunt. He said Jake Paul should fire his advisors, arguing that the people pushing Paul toward these matchups are leading him into bad decisions. Itama clarified that he actually likes Jake Paul and appreciates his positive influence on women's boxing, but still finds the matchup absurd from a competitive standpoint. "Yes, there's money," Itama said, "but it's still ridiculous. I'm not saying he shouldn't take the fight, but it's not good for him." Even with the backlash, Jake Paul remains steadfast. "This isn't an AI simulation. This is Judgment Day," he said. He continued, "A professional heavyweight fight against an elite world champion in his prime. When I beat Anthony Joshua, every doubt disappears, and nobody can deny me a world title shot." He ended his message by speaking directly to detractors. "To all my haters, this is what you wanted.